Hello, fellow human. It's time for some r/malicious compliance stories. When you guys were just a child, did you hate vegetables back then? Or you still hate them now? On to the first story by u/JazzZB54. You don't want veggies in your chicken soup? Got it, kids. Kids are awesome at malicious compliance, but it is a two-way street, winky face. My kids can be picky eaters at time. My wife made some darn good chicken soup, but the kids were complaining that there were veggies in their chicken soup. They hate veggies. Veggies make them sick. And they wanted my wife to pick them out of the soup. We tried to tell them that good chicken soup needs veggies to taste good, but they were being stubborn. I'm sure other parents can understand. I told the kids, if you really hate the taste of veggies, I'll make soup tomorrow and you guys can make sure I only put stuff in you like. They liked the idea at the time. The next day, I get the pot filled with water, all the typical soup ingredients out, and gathered the kids. I ask for their approval on every item. Chicken? Yes. Salt? Yes. Black pepper? No. Gross! Too spicy. Celery? No. I can't even stand the smell. Onions? No! It went on that, with them rejecting parsley, bay leaves, and other veggies. The total contents of the pot ended up being chicken, water, salt, and noodles. After the soup was done cooking, I served it up and they excitedly started to eat. A few funny faces later, and one of them said, "It tastes weird. This isn't very good." I said, "But I only put in everything you guys approved. I think from now on I should make the soup, right?" They looked at each other and said, "Can we have mom soup instead?" Since that day, they haven't complained about finding veggies mixed in the food. Sure, they almost always eat around a carrot or green pea, but they understand that it adds flavor. Oh wow, what a good dad teaching your children a valuable lesson in a nice way. Bravo! Moving on to the second story by u/CatZeges. Treat all prank calls as though they're serious? Sure, have fun making 180 extra large pizzas. I work in a major pizza delivery chain that has so far been unsuccessful in out-pizzaing the hut. Our store is in a college town and everyone is bored as hell right now for obvious reasons. So we've gone from maybe one prank call a day to at least 3 to 5. Which isn't much, but still really annoying with how much more business we've been getting, again for obvious reasons. The worst part is how uncreative and low effort most of them are. At least 80% of them are, "Can I get a boneless pizza?" or "Is this the Krusty Krab?" with the occasional insert GTA fast food order copy pasta here. This had been going on way too long, so I took up the habit of just hanging up whenever someone starts saying some stupid crap. The boss wasn't too happy about this, but didn't care enough to say anything until an incident where I hung up on someone who wanted that boneless pizza and he called back pissed because he actually wanted to order. So I get a stern talking to from bossman and he sends a message to company's group chat app saying that, "I know we've been getting more prank calls than usual, but please don't follow in certain people's footsteps and just hang up on them. Take the calls as seriously as possible. If they order something we can't make, calmly explain it to them and offer them something we do actually sell. We want to try to make money off of them even if they are acting dumb." So the very next call is where the fun starts. "Thank you for calling. What can I get you?" "I'm so hungry. Can I get an extra large pizza with triple every topping?" "I'm sorry, ma'am. We can only go up to one extra and double each topping." Okay then. Can I get 20 XLs of each meat y'all have? So like 20 pepperonis, 20 sausage, etc. These people are obviously high as hell and giggling in the background the whole time. "Oh sure, give me a sec to ring it all up." Okay, so that's 180 pizzas. The total will be $1,000. Don't remember the actual price, but close enough. And it will take about 3 hours. "Awesome, thanks. We'll pay with a check when we get there." Dial tone. So I place the order, and not 30 seconds later, I hear the "What the actual duck?" from the boss, and he runs to the computer. "How are they paying for this?" he asked me. They said with a check. We do still take checks for orders over $200, right? "They can't have been serious. Was this a prank call?" Not sure, boss. You said to take all the calls seriously. He just grumbles and picks up the phone and calls the customer, and all I hear is super loud laughter as he hangs up. Meanwhile, other employees have started actually making ridiculous order, not noticing anything weird about it. So by the time the boss finishes the call and cancels the orders on the computer, there are already 5 XL pepperoni pizza in the oven. So we got free dinner for everyone working that night, as well as another message in the group chat app simply saying, "In regards to my last message, please just use good judgment when taking orders." I love that you got a free dinner out of the deal. Malicious and delicious. On to the third story shared by /Ars Torok. The day I was hired and fired by a law firm. So this is about 5 years ago. I worked as a chef at a bakery. It was my job to make everything but the baked goods. Every morning, the baker and I would walk in at about 4 a.m. and knock out all of the food needed for the day. This would leave me ready to go home around 10 a.m. or so. This put us at the perfect time to deliver online orders. It was common for companies or other entities to place large catering orders with us. The baker and I would split them down the middle and deliver them on our way home. The delivery in question was for Bob, Mick, and Harry, attorneys at law. I have never delivered to BM&H before, but they were a regular of sorts. Every financial quarter, they would hold a huge meeting. This BM&H meeting would require roughly $700 of bagels and bagel accessories. This spread included 8 dozens bagels, all 10 of our flavors of cream cheese, pastries, brownies, and enough coffee to power a college dorm through finals week. My passenger seat, entire back seat, the entire trunk are filled with food. Now, BM&H is located on the 9th floor of a commercial skyscraper deep in an industrial complex downtown. Parking was non-existent. There were meters outside the building, but I knew I would need to close 10 trips to deliver all this food, and I didn't have a lot of change on me. Company policy was just to pay whatever fines I needed to park and then turn in my receipts. The money would end up on my next paycheck. So the building has its own parking garage, so I pull in. The security guard, let's call him Sam, stops me and say that the parking garage is for employees only. I happily show him my delivery invoice and offer him a bribery bagel, never leaves the store without at least 2. Sam refuses the bagel and says that I can park in one of the guest spots on the bottom floor. The fee is $5 for every 30 minutes, minimum $10. I thank him and head to the bottom floor of the garage. So there are a total of 6 guest parking spaces, just 6. All of them are taken. I head back up to talk to Sam when I see an open parking spot reserved for Bob, Mick, and Harry, attorneys at law. There are cars in every spot, with many spots being reserved for employees by name. The last spot is empty and is reserved for guests of BM&H. Perfect! I pull on in. I grab the most important part of the delivery, the coffee, and head to the stairwell. I get into the elevator and hit the button for floor 9. The elevator asks for my employee ID card. Well, crud. So I tried the lobby. That works. From there, it's 9 flights of stairs until I'm outside the law firm of Bob, Mick, and Harry. After introducing myself, I'm shown to the room where the meeting will take place. A table is set aside for me. I sit down to coffee and head for trip number 2. And that is when I see Sam talking to the receptionist. He runs over and starts shouting at me. "I'm putting a boot on your docking car! I told you to park the gas on the bottom floor!" I don't get a word in before he launches into a speech about security and how I could be hurting his building or people. That is when a very well-dressed man walks over. It so happens to be Bob, the Bob of Bob, Mick, and Harry's. Bob asks what is the problem, and soon the twos are arguing. Bob, "OP is delivering food for my meeting. He's allowed to use my parking spots." Sam, "Those parking spots belong to the building. You're leasing them like you leased this floor. I'm the only one who says who can park here. He is an employee, so he isn't parking." Bob, "Then I'm making him an employee." Sam, "You can't do that." Bob, you know what? You're right. Harry, get over here." Harry walks over here with an amused look on his face. Bob, "Harry here is the head of our HR department. Harry, hire this boy." Harry pulls out a piece of paper and scribbles, "OP, is now a member of Bob, Mick, and Harry's and signs it, then asks me to sign it as well. I do so. Bob reaches over to the receptionist who's already grabbing some things. Bob, here's your employee badge, your parking permit, and your elevator keycard. Now please, do the job I have hired you to do and deliver my bagels. Sam looks on in utter fury as I ride the elevator down to my car. 7 sweet elevator rides later, all food is delivered. Bob and Harry meet me at the table. Bob, OP, you have made great strides in this company and I'm proud of your work, but I feel it's time for us to part ways. Here's your final check. Bob then hands me a crisp of $50 bill. Harry, and your severance package. Now please, be sure to return your badge and card on the way out. Harry hands me a $20 and sends me on my way. The receptionist is sure to validate the parking ticket that Sam gave me and I head out. On the way out, Sam grins at me and asks for my ticket. I place it in the machine in his station. It sees the validation I got and lets me out for free. Sam glares at me as I drove off into the late morning sun. TLDR, security guard said that I didn't work here so I can't park here. Client pretends to hire me to get around the rules. Never argue with lawyers. You know what? I hate it when people get a small amount of power and let it go to their head. Next up, we have the story by u/evilhound. You want a meeting to discuss our phone account? Okay, let's have a meeting. For the past few years, our business has been receiving telemarketing calls from an offshore call center trying to make an appointment for Optus Business Center. Every time they call, we'd politely tell them we were not interested and to remove us from their list, and they'd promise not to call again. You can probably tell my use of the words every time that having ourselves removed from the list didn't work. It didn't work the first time, and it didn't work the 50th time. Offshore are cheap and get paid per appointment, so they would get quite aggressive. It was clear that a new strategy needed to be found as it was taking too long to get them to bugger off. So began my campaign of malicious compliance and petty revenge. Hi, we're calling from Optus Business Center and we can save you 40% on your mobile phone bill. Can we come and see you tomorrow at 11 a.m.? You can save me 40% of my phone bill? That is like 60 grand a month. What? How many phones do you have? 150 or so that I'm responsible for directly, plus few others. The appointment is quickly confirmed. The next day, a salesman calls me up. He's running early. Can we meet earlier? I refuse. Our appointment is for 11 a.m. after all. 11 a.m. rolls around and in he walks. We sit down in the reception and go through the greetings. I then ask him if it is possible to make the telemarketing call stop now. He assures me that it is, and so I stand up, shake his hand, and thank him for coming in. What? That's it? You could have said that over the phone. I point out that we did many times and it didn't work. And I hope that this waste of his time, 45 minutes trip from Homebush to Sydney, would perhaps teach him to mend his ways. Over the past 2 years, they have sent out 5 different reps to see us. They call for meetings, we accept them, shine them on about the value of the account, and they roll in to be greeted by me dressed in a chicken suit, made to wait in our meeting room for 20 minutes before being asked to be removed from the list. Being turned away at the door, they sent 2 reps at the time. I'm posting this today because it was visit number 6 and it was the best yet. We got a repeat customer. I sat him down in the meeting room and played the video recording of our last meeting, smiley face. Is that you? Yes, it's me. Didn't I follow up? Did we have a good meeting? I point out that I certainly enjoyed our last meeting and zoomed forward in the video to the part where I explained that we didn't have 500 mobile accounts and he needed to please remove us from their list, and you could see his heart break, which it did again once he realized that whatever account he thought was being discussed today was not going to be discussed, which we also have on video, so we can go all inception if or when he shows his face again. This is legendary great trolling. You are a freaking genius. On to the final story by u/Andres Inator. I can't get refund on my escape room. Okay, let me reschedule then. I am the one who had the malicious compliance done to by someone else. Context: I own an escape room company in a town which borders a pretty touristy area and is very close to an airport. As such, we tend to get a lot of bookings from people all over the UK who are visiting the area for the weekend or international people coming to do an escape room on the way to the airport. We only take online bookings and don't take walk-ins. Therefore, the site is only really manned whenever we have bookings. As such, our cancellation policy is that we only allow refunds if the cancellation is more than 24 hours before the scheduled start time. If it is 2 to 24 hours before the start time, we can only reschedule the booking. Now, it's worth mentioning that for the majority of cases weekdays, we are pretty relaxed with our policy, as long as it doesn't cause any big issues and try our best to accommodate a group. As usually, I'm the one hosting them, so there's not any additional expenses on our part. In other words, staff wages, loss of income from other potential customers. However, the only day where this policy is really relevant is on Saturday, where we are almost always entirely booked from the morning to night and have staff members working for us. So any cancelled slots would most likely have been filled by other customers, and we are of course still paying our staff for that time. Although I must say, we have only ever had to enforce this policy a couple of times as we are usually accommodate a group in some shape or form. Now, onto the MC. So I get a call earlier today from a gentleman with a thick Scottish accent that was scheduled to come in his group in around 2.5 hours from that time of the call. The group said that they would be unable to make their bookings as they were running late with some other activities or something like that, and asked to reschedule the booking for a later slot. I checked our schedule but didn't have any slots left for today in any of our rooms. He then asked for a refund as they would be returning back to Glasgow tonight and didn't know when they would be next down here. I told him that our policy and that our system only allows reschedule instead of refunds due to the staff frame, and explained that given it's a Saturday, we can't refund so close to the time as staff has been arranged, slot would have been booked, etc, etc. Rescheduling wouldn't have worked for them as they wouldn't be in the area anytime soon. After a short pause, he asked if we had any free slots to schedule for next month. I checked the system and offered to move the booking on the same time on 16th November, to which he said, "Yeah, I think that works." I changed the time on the system and informed him that he would get an email confirming the new time slot. He replied, "Great, so the booking is more than 24 hours away now, right?" Me, "Yes, it's booked in for 4 weeks time from today." Him, "Right, so the booking is more than 24 hours away. I won't be able to make it. Can I have a refund?" I paused for a second, trying to process what had just happened in my head and realized that he had found a loophole in the system. Technically, his booking was more than 24 hours away, so he is technically entitled to a refund. I started laughing and congratulated him on beating the system as I processed his refund. Oh wow, he beat the secret puzzle of the escape room. The real escape room was the refund we made along the way. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.